Hello, and welcome to Vlogmas. Today, continuing to work on this little project, and the next most viewed, most popular, I assume that if it's viewed, that means it's popular, right? Video is managing Avoidant Personality Disorder, which probably seems like a completely bizarre concept. I understand. But that one's a little hard to wrap your head around. Also, I don't know why that fountain is so crazy. It seems really loud to me. Probably y'all can't even hear it. Now I'm looking at this thing going, it's correct. Oh, almost correct. But then suddenly, it actually looks like a picture when I actually put all the pieces in the way they're supposed to be. So, what do I even mean when I say managing Avoidant Personality Disorder? Because it is definitely different from coping with Avoidant Personality Disorder, which is equally important. I'm looking at this thing trying to figure out what it's trying to have me do. Good luck with that, right? The coping is just not an active act. That's in the right place anyway. Is this the right one? Coping is not a proactive thing. Coping is you let it do its thing to you, and then you come around and I guess it's hard not to see this. I run into this issue about that from time to time, where there's definitely a distinction in the definitions of what I'm trying to say, but it's really hard not to use the same words and repeat it. The same words I'm trying not to say. I definitely have to open another one of these two hickeys. Which one? This one. Another sachet. But that is the distinction I'm making, is basically how proactive you are if you are coping versus managing. Managing is stepping up and directing how your life is going to be, as opposed to just have your life do whatever it's going to do and then come in afterward and mop it up. That is the distinction I'm trying to make. That, I guess. That seems really strange to me. That's what it shows in the picture. So yeah, that's the first thing I would say about it, is that managing is proactive. And that's probably like super obvious. Maybe. But coping is a reaction you do once something has happened, and managing involves that, but it means that you're going to I gotta open this one too. It means that you're going to take steps to direct whatever is about to happen to go in a way that works for you. So how do you do that? That is the question. The steps for managing versus coping is, first of all, sort of, put it bluntly, like education, self-education, which you're kind of doing now if you're watching my videos, because some of them are when I go on trips and I make silly travel videos, but a lot of them are just defining things and trying to clarify what is happening, and to give you something to help you reflect on what's happening in your own life. Okay, is it like what I'm describing or not? I really hope that it is kind of an active thing that people are doing, that they're participating. I can't talk. Well, hello. Interesting. Hi, Pop. I don't know what he's doing up here. Anyone up to? I'm up to, I guess. Anyway, yeah, I do hope that people sort of look at what I'm saying and apply it to their own life, and see how much of it they can apply to their own life, and what makes sense and what not, and what does not, so that you I mean, a lot of things that I say, I'm sure there are people that are just like, oh yeah, that's hogwash. That makes no sense whatsoever. What am I talking about? Oh my goodness, cat. No, one of them fell. Question is, am I going to find it? I guess. So yeah, the first step to managing it is to learn as much as you can about it. The next step is to then look at what has been going on in your life, to see how much what you're learning about applies to it or not. I have no idea if this is right. I mean, it is going together the way that it's supposed to, so it must be right. So once you have done that, once you have decided how much whatever you've learned about applies to yourself, then you have to decide what you're going to do with that knowledge. Because guess what? Just because, like for example, generally, people with avoidant personality disorder, because it is a personality disorder, they don't respond to medication. Okay, so are you going to take that knowledge and just not even try medication? Oh no, how is this going to go on there? I mean, I'd recommend trying everything, regardless. Maybe I can use this thing. Kind of. I'd recommend trying everything just to see what works for you. I mean, again, mostly because it's very common to have a comorbidity, in other words, multiple things that could be happening with you, and one of them might respond, even if you have avoidant personality disorder that doesn't respond, you might have something else that does respond. And I'm repeating myself for the bajillionth time, I'm sure. This one. This cat is seriously just gonna sleep here. I did the entire other project and the cat never showed up. Unbelievable. Also, these rolly things are gonna drive me crazy. So that is the first two parts of managing your avoidant personality disorder. And those take a long time. I don't even know what this is. I'm looking to see, I mean, that's clearly, oh wait, no, that's, yeah, I think I'm supposed to be using this one. It looks red here, but I don't see a circular red one. Okay, so where I just glibly gave you those two sort of, I guess, rules, do this, do that thing, you know, like, oh yeah, that's step 1 and step 2. This step 1 and step 2 could take you years and years and years and years to do. He moved. I guess I'm boring him. Or worse, I'm not feeding him. Does this actually fit on here? It's supposed to fit there. Oh, now he's getting into the curtains. He's truly being something else right now. So what I'm trying to say is, okay, maybe I'll do these first. Let's say you do have to educate yourself and then see what, there we go, your education yields you. Is that what it's supposed to look like? That's what it looks like to me. This little star thing goes on top. That thing. Okay. And that goes here. All right. So those are the two things that are going to be the most helpful in the long run for you to figure out how things are going to be at some point in your life. But do you need to know all the information before you can actually start making changes? The answer is no, of course not. As long as you realize that there's a way out and a way back. If you make changes, they don't have to be permanent changes. You can sort of see what's going on, and does it work for you? Does it not work for you? And if it does, cool. And if it doesn't, all right, go back to the drawing board. And again, okay, is it supposed to be white? Or is it supposed to be gray? What am I doing here? Oh, it's of course around the other side. This is not what they're showing in the picture. Awesome. I assumed it would be white. I might have assumed wrong. I mean, here's this. Goes here. It's supposed to be. Ah, there it is. And just when I give up, it suddenly pops up. There we go. All right. So you have this long-term goal of trying to figure out exactly what you're going to learn about and apply to yourself and see what sticks and what doesn't. What's the next step? The next step from that point to manage the avoidant personality disorder is, again, to look at what's working for you and what is not. Now, there's parts of it that are really going to work. I'm looking at a 3D drawing that, unfortunately, because of the angle of the 3D, two things look like they're in a row, and they are not. I mean, it really feels glib to just say, okay, well then you just decide what works for you. But really, truly, that is the key, is that you've got to look at what is working and what isn't, and change the things. And actively, okay, what color is it supposed to be? Gray. Actively choose great, all these things are, oh no, including that. That one's gonna be fun to pick up. This one's gonna be fun to pick up. It works the charm. Is that correct? And again, anybody who's watching me this whole time is probably like, why didn't you use that the whole time? Because I didn't have a clue, that's why. So then this. Maybe I have to, like, oh my Lord, look at that. I kind of feel pretty dumb that I didn't know about that and what that was for. That's better. So these sort of steps that I'm sort of dancing around, seriously, they'll take a really long time to come to fruition. But once you realize what works for you, you can keep doing it. The problem with avoidant personality disorder is it wouldn't be an issue for you if it wasn't working. So, going forward, the other thing is to really look at what's not working. And that's also not as easy as it might seem. And I don't mean it's not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy to snap your fingers and fix it. It's more like I'm saying it's not easy to snap your fingers and realize what is the issue. Because if you're just trying to do whatever the status quo is telling you to do, then you're probably not going to have a great time. And again, this is probably super repetitive, and I'm saying the same thing over and over again. Is that it? But this is such a weird thing. It's like they go one direction, they go the other direction. According to this is correct. Oops, pop that up. Pop it right back on again. So yeah, the other part of managing it is to see whose expectations are you trying to live up to. Because there's a bajillion expectations out there in the world about how you're supposed to do things, and they are very contradictory if you really think about it. All the stuff that everybody's always supposed to do. 6 of this and half a dozen of the other, and I mean, it's difficult for anybody to try to navigate that and say, exactly what of these particular societal dictations am I supposed to do, right? But you might not really be interested in any of them. And that's okay. You know, maybe you are interested in having a relationship and having kids and all that stuff. Great. First of all, take it from me, you do not need to continue to be in a relationship, to have a kid. Oh my goodness. It seems like that's what you're supposed to do. It seems like that's easier. Not necessarily. I mean, having kids is probably the last thing that anybody really wants to even think about when you have avoidant personality disorder. I did not want to think about it. I didn't want anything to do with it. It was the biggest shock on the planet when I had a kid, because I was so adamant that I was never going to have children. Little did I know. Why are they so weird? These guys. But you know, really, truly sit and decide, what are the things that you want in your life? And find a plan B, C, D, E, or whatever to bring them into your life. And it sounds simple and easy, and if I had like a cheat sheet and this is how you do it step by step, every single person out there, and I would say if anything, looking at these old videos of mine, that's, I think, the impression that I was trying to give was, oh, you just do this. Well, you know what? That worked for me, or that worked in theory. But these things I came up with, they're not going to work for everybody. Oh, this just never ends. It involves stickers. Has this been going? Okay, I think I'm going to stop this right here. Because, oh, stickers are scary right now. Okay, that was actually part of their thing. I mean, I got a little bit further along. Boy, this is a project. Anyway, so that's, I think I've described what I meant in this video, sort of. You know, that there's a difference between reacting and coping with what comes in your life rather than going forward and making plans, whether or not the plans happen or not. The act of making a plan is going to help you get a little bit of control over your life, and that's the managing part. You know, I mean, making a plan does not mean that you're going to fulfill every plan. I'm looking at this thing. other ones going, oh no, there's pieces that are not in the right thing. Know it for a fact. Anyway, whatever. That tree drove me crazy. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Poppy came over and grabbed a hunk of it and has run off with it. You saw him up here. Cats really do get up here and take off with pieces. I'll find them like end of next summer. Yeah. So I think that's the overall theme of everything in these videos that I make, is that even if you don't have a plan and everything goes, first of all, have a plan, and second of all, everything goes according to that plan. You know what? Nobody's life goes exactly according to plan. But to start to make, a plan to go in one direction is great. And to allow yourself the terminology, the frou-frou terminology right now is the grace. But like, just give yourself a break to know that you might not be able to fulfill things exactly how you wish they would in the time frame that you wish that it would happen, anything like that. Yeah, real life happens, and you can't control everything that happens in this world. You can't, things happen. That's all there is to it. Things happen. You don't have a crystal ball. You don't know how things are going to happen in your life. But trying to do things that are going to work for you versus trying to fulfill societal dictations. That's how you manage the avoidant personality disorder. Is you work with it and you make it work for you. By, and I'm not saying, I'm afraid this is going to say, oh, well, you have this, so limit your life. I mean, I have made choices that limited my life because of this. Yes, 100%. True. Because I can't do everything, and because I'm limiting my life in certain situations, I'm allowed sort of the bandwidth, the energy to do other things that right now I consider more important in my life. Period. I've made that choice and decision. And you can too. To prioritize your life and to do what's best for you rather than what anybody else might try to tell you to do. In a nutshell, that's probably like the most basic advice anybody could ever give you. But on the other hand, it might also be very empowering to hear that, yes, you do have the choice. You have the choice to prioritize. You have the choice to go through and go for one thing as slowly as you need to, and also to recognize that you might have to do U-turn. Try something else. And maybe you decide that you want to do a certain thing and you get there and it really does not work. Actually, the first time I went to college, the entire whole year, this is going to sound bizarre. It's not. If you've avoidant personality disorder and keeping up appearances is a way to stay under the radar so that you get, the heat taken off of you. The first year that I went to college, granted, I mean, I look back at it now and it's like I was really smart, and I 100% could have gone with my original plan. But really, the first year of college, what I learned to do was I learned to fail. And I don't like it, and I don't want to, but I learned to fail and to survive failing, because I really failed. My second semester, on a 4.0 scale, I had a 0.69. And the thing was, I was going into the sciences, and I'm just far too creative for that. I just am. Repeating experiments that people have done 100 bajillion times. I mean, that's what you do when you're being a scientist. That is the process of learning. Drove me bananas. The only class that I passed, mostly because it was the one I showed up for, was a lab class that was like literally 2 and 3 semesters ahead of where I should have been able. I mean, I was doing science I'd never seen before, on the fly, in a lab. That's the one that I passed. And the other classes that were stuff that I had already done and seen, I was like, I didn't even show up. And then so if you don't show up, then you don't show up the days they take tests either, and then you get zeros. Yeah. And I learned to fail and come back, and again, same thing, make a decision. Make a decision. So I totally failed out. My mother was thrilled because she had the I told you so-itis. Totally pissed, but totally I told you so. She's like, okay, now you're going to be a waitress just like me. And I was like, no. I mean, the other thing was going away to college. I went to a massive school, and there were just too many people. It was just too much. Like the socialization part. I mean, this is why I really understand what's going on with my kid, where he is autistic, and learning like school subjects was really simple for him. It was no big deal. What he had to learn in school was how to interact with people and what emotions were and all this other stuff that other people are sort of like just pick up. He couldn't. It was the same thing for me. You know, being around all those people made it basically impossible for me to function, and I had no idea what was going on. So it sucked. And I learned to fail, and I learned to pivot, and I came back and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be a waitress because I hate it. I tried it. I think it was 15 when I tried to be a waitress. Yeah, fail on that too. I mean, actually, I was a pretty good waitress. I just hated it. So, yeah. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I gave this advice to my son too. And I gave this advice to just about anybody that's going to college and they're like overwhelmed with, oh, I hate my core classes and I can't stand it, is take a class, a simple class, any class, anything that strikes your fancy. I went to the college. The first class that I took as a quote unquote English major was it was like a specialty class. It had like nothing to do. It was, you know, there are classes where this will count toward this requirement, this one will count toward this, and then there are classes that are just like literally filler. They don't count toward anything. They're just credit classes. That's what I took. I took a class in horror literature. And it was brilliant. First of all, it was taught by the guy who eventually became the president of the English department at that college. He was good. He was a really good teacher. Taught me how to do a close reading, which is, if you're ever done English, I mean, taught me how to do any sort of like theory readings, meaning, you know, not I'm just going to have my opinion, but actually read, understand theories that people come up with, like ways to analyze literature and then apply it. Learn how to do, I mean, I seriously learned the most in that class that I have ever learned in any class. And this was the one throwaway, oh, interesting, horror literature. Yeah, let me read about, you know, silly throwaway books and learn the most. Wrote an essay that actually won a college level, like, university award, annual award. Thank God I came in second place instead of first. First, I would have had to read it in front of the entire, ugh. I avoided all, even in graduate school, I avoided all of my get up and read my own personal work thing. I don't know how I got out of it. I don't even know how I graduated without having to do that. But again, I mean, it was a full hard pivot. It was exactly the opposite. I mean, everybody else knew that that's what I should have been doing, but I didn't realize it. I was like, I'm going to be a scientist, because there is a part of me that's really logical and breaks stuff down. And actually that's why, like my actual master's degree is in creative writing. It's creative writing, poetry specifically, even though I was already writing fiction and had it, like, I was in bookstores back when that was a thing, before the internet. I was like actual bound bookstores in the Library of Congress in the United States. On the bookshelves, you could go and buy them. When I graduated with my my BA, stunning. And actually I have a Master of Science, creative writing. So there's the science. But my degree is in poetry because it's more structured and technical, and also it you learn everything that you're going to learn taking a fiction, regular, either short stories or novels or whatever course, but then you also learn the technical aspect of choosing correct words, which I bet is astounding to anybody that's heard me blather on these videos, that I actually have a background in that. Word choice, sound, and rhythm, and also character, plot, and everything else. That's what I did, and the reason why it's a science, Master of Science, as opposed to just Master of Art, is in addition to writing a book, a creative book, poetry book, you had to come up with a theory that you could then present. And actually what's really wild is not that one, not the one that was presented. Actually, that one that I presented kind of got me in trouble with my advisor, the one that was trying to give me my degree, mostly proving my degree, because the theory that I presented, which seemed really obvious to me, made a book that she edited and had just come out that year kind of obsolete. Yikes. And another theory that I came up with right after, that was not the theory, but like literally right after it, I was shocked to see that. Now, I did not publish it under my name, but what happens is when you have these nifty theories, I don't believe in originality. It's like I put two and two and two together to come up with a solution that more or less, my theory, the second theory that I came up with, is like the generally accepted idea. It wasn't when I went to school. It is now. That's cool. So I wasn't the only one that thought of it, and enough people thought of it and put it out there, and it was corroborated enough that it's now the way people think. It's pretty cool. I was doing the same thing in the sciences. What I was coming up with is not exactly what the current thinking is, but it was along those lines. It fit right in. It was like a baby soft version of what's actually accepted now, which means that if I had stayed with the sciences and kept going with that, I would have really been able to at least keep up with the conversations that people were having. I don't know that I would ever have been truly original. I think it's more like I would have been able to fill in details in color and again, corroborate and back people up. In science, that's just as important, is to be able to, recreate. Again, which drove me crazy. That's what I hated about it, was to recreate the same experiments and have the same results, and so therefore prove that it was accurate. But that's what I hated the most, just doing the same stuff that everybody else did. Anyway, yeah. Now that I've gone off this massive tangent, how long is this video? 900 hours long? Oh, it's pretty long. Anyway, yeah, so, but that's what I'm talking about, that ability to pivot and see what's going on in the world. I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm so smart. I'm trying to say that is a technique that allows me to manage my avoidant personality disorder, is to break things down and then analyze them separately. Does this work for me? Does this not? And then to try things to see, okay, is this going to work for me? And if I really lean into this, is this going to work or not? And that is managing versus just reacting to whatever's going on and not actively taking, not actively participating in the actions that you're taking. I'm getting really repetitive. Okay, so I'm going to end this, and tomorrow another Vlogmas video. Bye.